I wish people would just get to know each other and got to know themselves a lot better rather than submitting to the pressure of what's cool and what's not, or what's right and what's wrong. My name's Julia, I'm 18 years old. I was born in New Zealand and this is my third state in Australia. I got into full-time study with a clear career path and I just couldn't do it. I didn't have the concentration or really the motivation to just sit down and look at books and study. So I had 6 months off that full-time student life, and in that time I realised what I actually love, which is baking. I'm doing a patisserie course, actually loving what you're doing and being excited to go to class and just constantly bake cakes. I really enjoy music, just listening to it, particularly on vinyl. It seems a lot more raw. I play guitar in every song that I play, whether it's like a hip alternative or a classic pop. I'll acoustic the heck out of it and somehow make it into like a slow folk song. But yeah, I think music's definitely an escape. Being in nature is really amazing because you feel completely miraculous that this world's so big and there's such like beautiful things out there, and that there are trees growing above your head and an ecosystem which you're a part of, knowing that you can be free and wild and adventurous without needing anything else or without having to impress anyone or without having to make something new, but just to make the best of what's around you. Some of the most important things in my life are friends and family. I guess I have like a genuine care for all people, but with them you seem a little bit more responsible for, in a way, that because you're their daughter or their sister or their best friend or girlfriend, you feel that you should make sure they can have the best possible life and the best possible day, the best possible hour. So many people are hurting other people to the point that people have to start hurting themselves. So I think I'm passionate about stopping people being unfair or like overruling to the point that someone feels so helpless or worthless that they don't know what else to do but join in with them and start attacking themselves. I lived in Armidale at the time, and it's regional New South Wales, about 9 hours from Sydney, and so the only adolescent mental health unit was 5 hours from home. So after like an attempt to kill myself, Mum and Dad drove up there with me. I was 17. The youngest was probably 12. I think it was particularly difficult for me to talk to therapists and go into a mental health ward, because the main question is what's happened in your life that's driven you so far, when in actual fact there was no significant event that happened and you're not really sure why you're so sad every day. And so it was difficult because no one knew how to fix it, because it was my own head just overthinking and overthinking and overthinking life. One round was sad, and then overthinking the sad made you scared, and then the overthinking the scared made you angry, and the overthinking the angry made you sad. And so it was a vicious cycle that was so convincing to yourself that it's difficult for someone's like quotes from a movie or a book or rounds of therapy to just get you out of it when you've created such like a miserable story in your head. And after you've lived so sad for so long, it's pretty hard to see a way out. So I was in there for 3 months, and halfway through I ended up becoming dependent on the mental health ward and becoming completely reliant on constant nurses' care and the locked doors and the occupational therapist always having my back and activities planned for me. When it came to near the end of the 3 months, I was asking not to leave because I was scared that I'd do something, because in that environment you couldn't. So you were left with opportunities of what happens if I don't have the protection, don't have the backup, and don't have the constant care. Or don't have like the ridiculously disgusting mashed potatoes every night. I really love writing, and I don't think I could cope without it. For seeing therapists for years and years, I'd really struggle to actually form a relationship with them. Especially moving around, you'd bounce from one to another and then go into a hospital and have to see a new team all over again. There'd be sessions where I'd just sit there for an hour and couldn't talk or couldn't look them in the eye. And then maybe 45 minutes through, I would reach for a pen and paper and I could just write how I felt. When I talk to professionals, particularly who have studied mental health, they jump to a conclusion and they don't listen to the rest of what you have to say because they already have what they think you're saying in their head. Whereas if you write, they can't interrupt, they have to keep reading, and they can't formulate what you're going to say before you say it. They can just read, and you can't take back what you have to say because it's already on paper. So I think writing in that sense has really helped me, because I'm not the best talker. Either I ramble or I can't think of the right words that I actually need to say. I never really came out to my parents. I think after, it's kind of great for me in a way, and I realised how lucky I am and was, because after hearing that your child tried to kill themselves, realising that they're gay is such a minute detail, and I never had to come out to my parents. It was when my at the time girlfriend, she had come over, and my parents would be happy for us to just stay in my room, and they'd say, "Oh, are you girls together?" And I'd say, no, I'm not gay. And they'd be, "Oh, okay." And it went on for months and months, and then I left the town and my girlfriend remained in the same town. My parents picked me up in the new town and I was a mess, and they completely understood that, and I still denied I was gay, and I still denied that anything had changed. And I think it was then that they asked that I was gay and I just smiled. And then I had a visit from my girlfriend, and Mum started referring to her as my girlfriend, and it would just continue the conversation. I wouldn't stop and pause. There were moments when Mum would tell me not to give up on boys and to keep my options open, which my sister went off at. "Did you ever ask me not to give up on girls?" But I think that when something so big happens to you, you realise that just being alive is pretty good. I have a lot of gay male friends who have found it a lot tougher because of the stereotypes of what a man is and what a woman is. There are girls, and girls still have the, "Oh, she's a tomboy," and that's completely fine. "Oh, she skates, she's pretty cool." But then in the guy situation, there's just the, poofter. And I think that's something really difficult to get past. I have a friend who just wants to die because he's been constantly bullied and constantly told he's a fag and he doesn't fit in. Sometimes I just want to get away, or I can't talk to anyone. Let alone sometimes I get to the point where I can't write. And I've got 2 dogs. And one's called Molly and one's called Frankie. I probably get along with Molly better. She's not big, she's a golden retriever cross the Brittany Spaniel. And she has that weird dog instinct that knows when you're sad, and she knows when you need cuddles. You can just cuddle her and cry to her and talk to her. Something just about animals. You can just talk to them because you know they won't judge or run away or get bored. Happy day for me is when I feel free and independent, and when I feel that I know that at one stage in people's lives everyone feels a bit lonely. Well, a happy day for me would be when everyone can just talk to each other. And because so many people have stories and they just walk past each other obliviously to everyone's stories. So I think what makes me completely happy is for everyone to be less self-obsessed and to actually understand that other people are also going through what they're going through. Think about it.